Welcome, divine feminines. Today we're awakening the holy fire within, the sacred flame that resides in your soul. This is the fire of transformation, creativity, and divine power, waiting to be unleashed. It's not just a metaphor, it's the energy that fuels your purpose, your passion, and your connection to the divine. Together, we'll explore how to nurture this fire. Let it illuminate your path and radiate its warmth to the world. The holy fire is calling you. Are you ready to embrace its power? Let's dive in. The holy fire, divine feminines, that you have on the inside of you. For some of you that are listening to me, there's a small spark. This is what I had when I was over there in the world. Figuratively speaking, because I'm in the world. When I was in the false matrix, what kept nagging at me, though I had was this and I had my hand in that and I'm married over here and but and had my hand over here. The spark, that nagging part of my heart space, something was nagging at me. And though I did a lot of things, it just wasn't it. This just ain't it. This is good now because got this going and got that going, and this is good. It felt good. I'm not saying it wasn't good. I'm not saying it didn't work. I'm not saying it didn't succeed. It did. But what sometimes happens when we are ignoring that true spark is we could do a million things, but we still come to the place of self-sabotage. We can still find ourselves self-sabotaging it because it's like I don't and just follow me for a minute. The subconscious mind works in the background. It's not until you become more familiar with it that you start seeing how decisions you've made in the conscious mind, that for the most part you walk around like, oh, this is the way life is. Don't know why I did that. Shouldn't have did that. That worked. No, it didn't. You just kind of walk around with your head in the air. But the more familiar you become with the deeper part of you, hindsight, you can see how the conscious mind and the subconscious mind are not really separated. So when we talk about in tarot, the Lover's card, Gemini, the twins, you talk about twin flames, soulmates. Who is your soulmate? Who is my soulmate? Who I gonna find my soulmate? I'm gonna find my soulmate. The 3D version of you, the physical version of you, the self of you is your soul's mate. Now, do you have cosmic and divine relationships with other people? Surely. Of course. Yep. But at the foundation of certain terms we use, The only possible mate to your soul is you. The conscious and the subconscious are mates. This is why it's so imperative to get them in harmony with each other. The subconscious, knowing its position, which it always does, it's us down here that are being mistaught about what the subconscious is. Our consciousness is being misinformed. And so we walk around as conscious beings, always in a war with our mate, which is our subconscious, and the older of the two. You want to talk about Adam and Eve and all that, you want to understand. So the conscious mind, when the soul is not getting what it needs, when the subconscious is trying to get you to a place, the conscious mind creates a reality for the subconscious of itself to get that from it. Like the conscious begins to create a reality. So then in the soul of you, there's a spark of go this way. Do this. Do this. Start that charity. Do this. Start that orphanage. Do this. Become a coach, life coach, spiritual coach. Do this. Start your oils. Start your soaps. Start your healing work. Do this. Create that nutritional plan. Because that is a part of the vocation of you that you need to bring down into this dimension. And you can go do everything else and be successful. But the spark never quite goes away. So then all of these challenges that we go through just being creatures of occupation continue to keep trying to inform you of something. Some of us are really sophisticated, very skilled at ignoring our soul. Because as long as we got the house, the car, the kids, the clothes, we're believing the lie that we've been told that everything's okay. Because, I got money. I ain't broke. Being financially broke, being financially without is not the worst thing you could be. Not when you compare it to being spiritually broke and spiritually without and spiritually stuck and spiritually stagnated. Being financially without for a season to gain spiritual wealth is not the worst thing, but I shrieked from it. I don't know about that. I don't know. I had seen in there, well, the in the myth and everything when Nicodemus had came to Jesus and everything, and then he had asked him how does he, get this little good salvation and everything, get to the kingdom, and then Jesus had told him you got to go and sell everything, and then I had heard some of these preachers, talking about poverty and everything, and we live in a different era now where to have a mindset of poverty for spiritual, gain and hedonism and all that stuff is so railed against and stuff like that. I had seen all of that. And so I had heard in the Bible when I was in the church and everything that, I did kind of comprehend that there's a suffering ministry that comes along with spiritual growth. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but I'm willing to suffer in some ways, but I'm just not willing to suffer in other ways. I'm not willing to give up nothing that's going to cause me to not, be able to go buy new clothes and new Jordans and new Nikes and stuff. And then, get this car over here. I'm going to get this car on the car lot. So, I'm working. I work because I mean, they call it slavery. It is modern day slavery, but hey, you got to do what you got to do. I was making all kind of excuses to avoid. That's why I say some of us can be so good at avoiding and ignoring the spark of the soul. I don't know. I mean, I had worked all week and everything, so I'm gonna hang out with the good girlfriends and stuff. Although I know I need to be working on this thing that keeps sparking in my soul, but I'm tired. I'm gonna just go over here and chop it up with them for a little while for the weekend, then I'll be back to work. And you get into a rut like a rat on a wheel, and the whole time you on the wheel, the spark is still there. So then people look at you and say, "Well, she got a lot, she did a lot, she doing a lot," but on the inside of you, when you're by yourself, you're still feeling like unsatisfied, unfulfilled. Something is still nagging. If you would just trust that spark, whatever your path looks like, it doesn't have to look like mine looked like. But the fact is, the trusting is what's important. The putting the passion and the holy fire of the soul in front of you is what important. Some of you have your fire sitting on the backside of you. Some of you have your fire sitting behind you. Some of you have your fire sitting to the left or your fire sitting to the right. You have to put your fire in front of you. Let it show you the way. Let it show you the course, the passions of the heart. Making excuses to continue to be busy at busy work. The holy fire within us, divine feminines, is there to light your path. Using the wisdom gained through loss will ignite progress. I had very deep wounds, some from the current lifetime, some from a past lifetime. Very deep wounds concerning the lack of security. When I was unawakened and unhealed, I could never understand why it is that no matter what I have, no matter how much of it I have, I've lived in 1-bedroom apartments all the way to almost 4,000 square foot house on 3 acres. I've had a lot of money and I've not had a lot of money. And I could never understand why, with a lot, I don't feel secure. With a little, I don't feel secure. Well, let me go get some more. But then I would go get more, go work more hours, go get a second part-time job, go get a side hustle, go start this business, watch it grow. Oh, it's growing. I'm getting more. And yet just, I just didn't feel secure. And my lack of security on the inside of myself created an insecure life. I've had cars repossessed. I've never been evicted. That I can say that. Never been evicted. You know, things happen. I know that happens for some people, but that I don't want to lie. I've never been evicted, but I've had cars repossessed. I've had loans. I have debt. I have all of these things trying to create this dream that they had told me was American and everything. And so, you go to school, I did that. You graduate, I did that. You go to college, I did a little bit of that. You give your life to the Lord, I did that. You do your best not to hurt, harm. You don't steal. Don't lie. I mean, I ain't gonna tell you no lies now. I will lie. I don't lie as much now because I'm more confident in myself with the truth. But I am a Virgo, and I'm gonna tell you something, a little secret about Virgos. If you don't think they'll lie to you, that's probably why you're getting lied to, because you don't think that we will. The unhealed version of us, and we good at it too, because we don't go off into the extreme with the shit. Some people ain't good liars because you do too much. You saying too much. I can tell you lying. No, Virgos, no, no, it's believable when a Virgo lie to you. Keep the energy neutral. Just say it natural. Don't oversell it. I'm so glad for healing, for real. And I don't have to do that anymore because you can accept the truth or not. Like I said in the first video, I'm just planting the seed of the truth. I don't have to juice it up, spice it up, conjure it up. No, none of that. None of that. None of that. Right? But my inner lack of security was constantly creating an earthly lack of security. I was getting in relationships, wasn't nothing secure about them when I met them. Nothing. But wasn't nothing secure about me neither. I didn't have a mind to want better, because what is that? Made decisions out of this constant feeling like I'm not standing on solid ground. This lack of security was because the material things I had gained from working, right? As we all do. But I wasn't working in or out of my passion and purpose. I couldn't ignore it. Not I don't know how many other lifetimes I have, but not this one. It was something about this one. This is not the one where you're going to ignore this. You cannot ignore this. And I knew it. But I was like, for me to do what I feel in my heart, I'd have to disconnect from the matrix, the false matrix altogether. One message I'm going to come in and talk about how they use our intrinsic connection to money, our intrinsic and extrinsic connection, the in and the outer connection to money against us. And this doesn't matter whether you have a lot of it or a little, and it doesn't matter how you get it. It's the inner connection to it that they will use against you. And who is they? The dense energies that inhabit this planet with you. No matter how much I had accumulated materially, subconsciously, in the soul of me, I still felt like a failure. I grew weary, frustrated, sick of it, tired of that feeling of failure. That feeling of failure went with me in everything that I did accomplish. It still went with me. So I made a decision. I made a decision to stop making material possession or the false projection of worldly success my goal. I stopped making material possessions and the false projection of worldly success my focus, my goal, my attainment. So I prescribed. In the beginning, this was unbeknownst to me, but now I'm teaching from what I've learned. So what I realized I did was I prescribed a holy fire. I prescribed that spark that kept nagging at me. I prescribed that spark to my life. And as I prescribed it to my life, it began to grow. If anybody's ever I do bonfires and little table fires and stuff out here. It's been a little too cold lately for me to do it, and plus I ain't been feeling like chopping up no wood and everything. But sometimes when I'm just chilling or whatever and I'm vibing out at night, and I do these little bonfires and stuff where I just kind of hang out, listen to music and everything. You know what I mean? Pour me a little libation and chill. You know what I'm saying? And so anybody that's ever like had any kind of dealings with building a fire, I'm not talking about a candle, I'm talking about a fire. You know that you have to feed the fire. This is why fires like what they're doing in LA and when there's forest fire and stuff like that and people houses get burned down, it's so hard to contain it because the fire is moving and there's so much matter present to feed it. There's a point when you're building a fire where, you start with the first round of wood, but then it starts to kind of go back to a spark. And if you got to go, oh, give me some more wood, give me some more wood. And you throw some more wood on there because as you feed, it has to have something to burn. Else it'll go out. So I took that spark and I prescribed the spark to my life. And it did what sparks do when you feed them. It grew. And it started burning down the job and then the situation over here. And it was, I didn't need that. I didn't want that no way. It started burning down this over here. And oh, okay. And it started burning down marriages and stuff. And I was like, oh, Lord. And then, and it's just, for a minute, I was like, what's next? Right? It started to burn down those structures that I had erected in my life that were there as blockages to my purpose. Business shut down. Most of this stuff was a decision. I made the decision. See, this is what I mean by prescribed. This is not, oh, this is just happening to me and I don't know what's going on and I don't know how to do it. No, this is prescribed. This is me making a decision to trust my holy fire, even when it's just a spark, but it won't leave me alone. I can't ignore it. Trusting through knowing, trusting through knowing what I heard the mother of fire say to me, that I'm going to come out better, both spiritually and materially in the end. Through the wisdom of loss, through the wisdom gained by loss. You want to get into a place where karmic people, witches and warlocks can't do anything with you? You want to get into a place, my sister, where you don't have to pick up not one more candle, not take one more spiritual path unless you just like them and love them and just like to, beautify your spirit and your frequencies and stuff. And if you are doing your work, you're doing it just to raise your vibrations and to, because sometimes we can pick up energies just being out the door. Doesn't mean anybody's throwing anything at you. But you want to get to a place to where if they do throw, it doesn't matter what they throw. Prescribe for yourself. You don't have to wait for catastrophes and stuff and bad situations to happen to know that you need to make a change. You need to give up something. You need to move your heart space and disconnect and cut ties from your heart space to things. You don't have to wait. This doesn't make you better than anybody. That's the spirit of hedonism. It's not what we're talking about. But this is what you do to gain wisdom. See, this is why, people talk about Solomon and everything. He is mythological too. And in the Bible, it talked about how, he had, he was David's son and everything. He got to build God the temple and he was so righteous. But then we see all these concubines and wives and all this salacious stuff that he was involved in. And then when you get out of the Bible and really start reading some stuff, you learn about the signet rings and the demons and stuff that he channeled and helped build the temple and stuff with, and. But if you stay in the Bible, they'll tell you about how God came to him and told him he could have, I'm paraphrasing, he could have whatever he wanted. What did he want? And then he could have asked for like all the money in the world and everything. Like he could have asked, he could have asked for like he could have asked for anything. but he asked for wisdom. He asked for wisdom. And then we start reading about, from him, supposedly, we start reading about there's nothing new under the sun. And we start reading about all these little jewels, wisdom jewels that he gleaned over the time. And he's done everything under the sun. And in all of the things that are under the sun, he finds nothing but vanity and da 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 da. See, he asked for wisdom. And this is why I reiterate that wisdom comes by way of experience. Solomon is not Job. Job had a bunch of shit just happen to him. You know, he had a whole lot. And then he just started going through calamity after calamity and calamity after calamity and calamity after calamity. Job is different than Solomon, because when you read the scriptures, Solomon said that he went out to discover this and to learn of that. He asks for wisdom, but wisdom does not come without experience. Job received some wisdom too, but his experience was different, which is why we think of Job as Job, and we think of Solomon as this great figure who had all of this and he did all of this and done all of that. Wisdom you learn from Solomon is a woman. It's feminine. Wisdom is given to you from the mother. Wisdom is given to you through divine femininity. How do you get access to that wisdom? See, that wisdom is not sitting somewhere Indian style complaining about how everything around you is being burned down, contrary to why, and you don't know why. And you're not whining and complaining like Job did, because you didn't ask for you to lose you didn't ask for you to lose this, you didn't ask for you to lose that. So you're just going through the motions. That's not gaining wisdom. Gaining wisdom is when you say, I want to know. What is this spark inside of me that no matter what I do, it won't go away and nothing fulfills it? So I'm still not doing what it's going to take for me to fulfill that spark. No matter what I'm doing, no matter how much I have and no matter how much I don't have. Trusting in your relationship. When you ask the mother or the goddesses that walk with you, what do I need to do? When I asked, she told me what I needed to do. But she had been telling me what I needed to do since I was 23 years old. Remember in the last video, I said that I wanted to pull away and move differently. I needed to pull away, but I didn't have the courage to. She had been telling me for 20 years what I needed to do. It took me 20 years to get into alignment, to trust what I was hearing from my heart space. What she may tell you is different. Not splitting hairs here. My example doesn't have to be your example verbatim. The idea is that you get into a place, divine feminines, that when you ask her, what move, let the fire go before you and follow it. Through the wisdom of loss, I learned to open my heart and mind to the reality that the material means I needed for my continued development was always going to be provided. That fear of not having There was no way for me to get out of it but to burn it down. I tried to strategically. I tried. But because of my inner lack of security, that wasn't working for me. It didn't matter how much I had saved. At this point, look, we 20 years in, sweetheart. Does it matter at this point? I mean, it's all in or not. Like, what you gonna do? This is why I teach my sons now. Just having a conversation with them the other day. I'm doing everything I can to raise men who understand who the great and grandmother is through my example to them. As they get older, I point them to her directly. But I explain to them, I'm 40 years old, right? No, I'm 41. I don't have no shame in saying it, right? And they are children. I want to give them the understanding of who they are, at least to the degree in which I help them understand that it's for them to discover who they are. Don't waste not 1 second. Don't waste not 1 second doing anything in this life that you are not passionate about. Not 1 second. Not 1 second. Find out what it is. My oldest, he's coming into it. My youngest, he still hasn't decided. They're both very talented in many different areas. And then they're from a different generation, so this discovery is a bit different than mine. But the point still stands. Start now. Think about it now. Explore now while you're having your clothes bought for you. You got the roof over your head. That's there for you. You know what I'm saying? Mom, do the best she can. You know what? You don't go hungry. You know what I mean? Nobody going hungry around here. You know what I mean? Like you don't have a lot of responsibilities right now as it relates to your physical needs and things being met. So this is the time now. See, they didn't tell me this. I didn't get this. It's probably why I always had a lack of security. Because nobody told me this when I was their age. It was go to school, go to college, get a degree, get a career, get a house, get a husband, love the Lord. It was just structure. Don't explore shit. Like, this is what you do. You go to school, you get a degree, you go to college, you get a degree. You know, it was no time for exploration of self, of soul. So I make it my business with them to admonish them to go inside of themselves. The faster you can find out what you're passionate about, and when you do, don't waste your time doing nothing else but that. Because you'll be 40 years old, looking back, may have a lot, may have a little. Finally realizing that in all you have done or all you haven't done, either way, you're unsatisfied. I am going through what I'm going through to overhaul my life and redirect my steps to heal and to mature myself. I wish I had have gotten this early. I wish I had have been like shown the way earlier when I was, somebody else's responsibility, but I didn't. No, not crying over no spilled milk. Cause if I was crying over spilled milk, then I'd still be, ignoring the spark and just clocking in, clocking out, doing da 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 da. Just on the wheel, just like a rat, just going. If I was still crying over it, I'd still be on the wheel like a rat. But I'm not crying about it no more, which means I take ownership for what my life is and for what it isn't. But find your passions early and don't be distracted because nothing else is going to satisfy you. Nothing else. Nothing else. Where I struggled in the past, I have the assurance now that I am capable. I am capable of genuine spiritual and material prosperity, both in the proper place, nothing being neglected. I can manifest that which has real meaning to my heart from my heart. The holy fire within divine feminines is forging for you your own authentic path, removing through spiritual alchemy the base perceptions you have of yourself that impede upon your ability to expand. You don't have to force nothing to happen. You don't have to force something to happen in the material world. You don't have to slave for it. You don't have to compromise for it. You don't have to truck through it. But reframing your beliefs around truth, the reframing of your beliefs around the truth, so they are in complete alignment with your inner values, your inner world, your inner passion, your vocation. What you need from the material world to fulfill your purpose is going to be provided. What stops some of us from making certain changes in whatever area or element of your life is because we stand on one side trying to determine what's going to be the outcome before we've even taken one step. We want to determine what will be my outcome, what's going to happen if I do what my soul is calling me. You're trying to determine the outcome before you've even gained the trust needed to take the first step. But the holy fire uncovers the path so that you can discover the vocation, so that you can discover the purpose, so that you can discover where your success is, both materially and spiritually, compromising neither one for the other one. Trust yourself. Trust the mother while going through the process that creates spiritual integrity and alignment. Know that the promise of your sacred success is being fulfilled through every challenge and every victory that this life presents you. Turn the spark into a flame and follow it through the darkness. For it is your light. It is your way maker. Your own heart. Nobody else making no way for you, but your own heart. Trust and take the step. This has been Sacred Empowerments of the Divine Feminine. I am YaYa, the spiritual doula. Thank you, my sisters, tribe, family, for tapping in. Please take a moment, if you have not already, to subscribe. Go ahead and subscribe. We'd love to have you a part of the situation over here with us. You know what I mean? Also hit the like bell. The notification bell. So you'll know when I'm back with another video. All right, and hit the like button. That is a good way to donate energetically to the channel, and I will greatly appreciate that. All right, share, comment, leave a comment. Let me know how this message resonated with you. Share, tell someone in your peer group, around your neighborhood, someone on your job, another divine feminine who you think would benefit from our family here. Okay, I love all of you guys. Please continue to be well, continue to prosper, continue to grow, and I'll see you guys on the next one. All right, peace, family.